He told me I was overreacting. That's literally what he said when I asked why his ex was suddenly helping him plan his business trip. He rolled his eyes, laughed, and said, "You really need to stop being so insecure? Ava, she's just a friend." So I dropped it. Tried to act chill, the cool girlfriend who doesn't get jealous over harmless things. But something about it felt off. I couldn't explain it. Just that weird gut feeling when someone's lying and you can't prove it yet. Still, I ignored it. Because that's what you do when you want to trust someone. A week later, my best friend sent me a photo. Ethan was at the hotel I paid for, the same one he said was for work. And right next to him, his ex, smiling, holding his hand. She was wearing the silver watch I bought him for his birthday. He didn't even hide it. He posted pictures online, making fun of me like I was some jealous ex who couldn't move on. But the next day, Ethan finally learned what overreacting really looks like. Ethan and I met about a year ago at a friend's barbecue. He wasn't the loud show-off type, just funny, relaxed, the kind of guy who knew how to make everyone feel at ease. He offered to help me carry drinks from the car, and we ended up talking the entire afternoon. It wasn't anything romantic at first, just easy conversation, that weird comfort you get with someone new. After that, he started texting me. Little things at first. Hope your day's going okay. Don't forget to eat. Want coffee before work. He had this way of making me feel seen. And honestly, after a few bad relationships, that felt rare. He wasn't the best communicator, but he was consistent. And that's what got me. Not big gestures, not gifts, just consistency. He'd show up when he said he would. He'd listen when I talked about my job. He'd bring snacks when I worked late. I started to think, maybe this is what real effort looks like. The first few months were great, easy even. We'd spend weekends at my place, cooking, watching movies, falling asleep halfway through them. Sometimes he'd talk about his goals, how he wanted to start his own marketing business, how he was done working for people who didn't respect him. He sounded ambitious, and I liked that about him. He'd say things like, "You keep me grounded, Ava," or "You're the calm I didn't know I needed." And I believed him. Looking back, maybe I fell too fast. But when someone treats you right, you don't question it, at least not at first. Around month 6, little things started to shift. He'd go quiet for a whole day, saying he was too busy or mentally drained. Sometimes he'd text less, but then show up all affectionate like nothing happened. His phone started staying face down more often, and when I asked who he was texting, he'd just grin and say, "Wow, jealous much?" It didn't feel like a red flag at the time, just a flicker of doubt I didn't want to feed. He wasn't a bad boyfriend. Not yet. He just started acting like I was asking for too much whenever I brought up something that bothered me. If I said I felt distant, he'd say, "You're imagining things." If I said he seemed distracted, he'd say, "I'm just focused on work." Somehow, everything was always my fault for reading too much into it. Then came the first mention of his ex. It was casual. She'd apparently gone into event planning, and he said she was helping him make some business connections. I didn't react much. I mean, people can stay friends with their exes, right? But the way he said her name stuck with me. There was this tone, soft, familiar, like a name that still lived rent-free in his head. A week later, he brought her up again. Said she was helping with logistics for a marketing trip he was planning out of town. I asked if they still talked often, and he sighed, rolled his eyes, and said, "Ava, please. We're adults. Not everything has to be weird, and maybe that's where I messed up. I wanted to prove I wasn't the jealous type. So I told him it was fine, that I trusted him." He smiled, kissed me on the forehead, and said, "See? This is why I love you. You're not like other girls." That line, "You're not like other girls," felt flattering then. Now it just feels like the kind of thing guys say when they're testing how much you'll tolerate. A week before his trip, he told me he was stressed about costs. His card was maxed, he said, and he didn't want to miss this big networking chance. I work in admin, so I get corporate discounts on hotels. I offered to help book everything. thinking it was a kind thing to do for someone I loved. He said that would be super helpful, that he'd pay me back once his client deposit came in. So I booked it, flights, hotel, everything under his name just like he asked. He hugged me, told me he didn't know what he'd do without me, and left that night saying, "I'll make you proud." I remember standing by the door, watching him walk away, thinking how lucky I was to have someone so driven. It's almost funny now, how blind love can make you. Because the trip I booked, the one he said was for business, it wasn't for business at all. The morning he left, he kissed me on the forehead and said, "Don't stress, okay? I'll call you tonight." He didn't. Not that night, not the next. I told myself it was fine. Maybe he was busy, maybe the conference ran late. But by day 3, something felt wrong. He was barely replying to my texts. One-word answers. Busy. Later. Good night. And that gut feeling? It wasn't just a flicker anymore. It was loud. Friday night, my friend Jess texted me out of nowhere. "Hey, you should see this." She sent a screenshot from Instagram. It was Ethan at a rooftop bar. The location tag? The same hotel I'd booked. He was smiling, glass in hand, and next to him, his ex. At first, I thought maybe it was an old picture. Maybe I was being paranoid. Then I saw it. The silver watch. The one I'd bought him for his birthday. Except, she was wearing it. My stomach dropped. My hands were shaking. I just sat there staring at the screen, hoping it was some kind of mistake. It wasn't. He looked happy. Too happy. Like I never existed. I tried calling him. No answer. Texted. "Ethan, can you call me when you see this?" Read. No reply. An hour later, he posted a story. "When you stop settling, you start living." A selfie of him and her, clinking glasses, all smiles. He even tagged the hotel, the one under my name, paid with my card. He wasn't just cheating. He was flaunting it. Using my money to take his ex on a romantic trip and mocking me publicly, I called Jess again. She sounded angrier than I was. "Ava, he's doing this on purpose. He wants a reaction, but I didn't give him one. Not yet." The next morning, I woke up to another post. This time it wasn't just a story. It was on his main feed. Him and his ex at brunch. Caption. "Sometimes you realize the upgrade you deserved was there all along." The comments made me sick. His friends hyping him up. "Finally, man. Damn, she's way better than your last one. Major upgrade. I didn't even cry right away." I just sat there numb. It wasn't just betrayal. It was humiliation. Public humiliation. 7 months of being there for him, helping him when he couldn't pay rent, listening to his endless business talks. And now, I was the punchline. That night, Jess came over. She took one look at me and said, "You know this isn't just cheating, right? He planned this." At first, I didn't believe her, but then it hit me. He'd asked me to book the trip under his name, said it would make check-in easier. He knew exactly what he was doing. Then, like it couldn't get worse, his ex posted the same photo. Same hotel. Different caption. "Some people fund love without even realizing it." That was about me. It had to be. I wanted to scream. Instead, I just started saving everything. Screenshots, receipts, the booking confirmation, the texts. All of it. That night, I got a DM from someone I didn't know. It was one of Ethan's coworkers. He said, "Hey, just so you know, Ethan's been talking about starting a business with his ex. He said you were cool with it." Cool with it? He was lying to everyone. Coworkers, family, friends, painting himself as the successful guy with the supportive girlfriend who understood. Meanwhile, I was just the idiot paying for it all. I felt this shift inside me then. The tears stopped. I wasn't hurt anymore. I was furious. Not the screaming kind of furious and the quiet kind. The kind that plans because this wasn't just cheating. This was manipulation. And if Ethan thought he could just block me and move on like nothing happened, he was about to find out I wasn't the one to mess with. After that weekend, I went quiet. Not sad quiet, just focused. If he thought blocking me meant he could walk away clean, he clearly didn't know me. I started small. First, I called the hotel, pretending there'd been a mix-up with the booking. The receptionist checked and said, "Yes, Ms. Ava. Mr. Ethan Miller checked in last week." "With one guest," I paused. "A guest?" "Yes, one guest. Right, his ex." Then I called the airline. The return ticket was supposed to be Sunday, except he'd changed it to Wednesday, extended the trip, all charged to my card. He wasn't working. He was vacationing. It was the kind of discovery that makes your anger feel clean, cold, like something inside you clicks, and suddenly you're done crying. Next, I reached out to his sister, Lily. We'd talked a few times before. She was always kind, a little naive, but decent. I didn't want to start drama, so I kept it casual. "Hey, did Ethan tell your parents about his business trip?" She hesitated. "Yeah, he's been bragging about it all week. Said he's pitching some startup idea and might need a little help from Mom and Dad for the initial investment." Investment. I actually laughed. He wasn't pitching a startup. He was pitching lies. I told Lily everything. The trip, the hotel, the ex, the money, all of it. She went quiet for a long time, then said, "Ava, he told my parents you were going with him. That it was your idea. I swear I had to sit down. He not only scammed me for the trip, he dragged my name into his story to make himself look legitimate." That was it. No more pity, no more confusion. Just clarity. Lily was furious. She said, "We're having dinner this weekend. You should come." At first I said no. I didn't want to cause a scene. But then she added, "He's planning to ask them for money that night. You should hear what he says." And that's when the idea formed. If Ethan wanted to act like some business genius in front of his family, maybe it was time his investor showed up too, the one who unknowingly funded his last romantic getaway. So Lily and I planned it out. She told her parents she wanted to invite me, said Ethan and I were still close, and that I'd been really supportive of his business idea. Her mom loved the idea. "Oh, that's wonderful. It'll be nice to catch up. Perfect." I spent the next few days organizing everything: screenshots, receipts, the hotel confirmation, his messages, even his Instagram posts. Every lie, printed and labeled. It was weirdly satisfying, like watching puzzle pieces lock into place. For once, I wasn't the one reacting. I was preparing. Saturday night came. The dinner was at his parents' place. Small house, cozy, full of family photos. It almost made me feel guilty for what was about to happen. Almost. When I walked in, his mom hugged me right away. "Ava, honey, it's so good to see you again." Her voice was warm, the kind that made you forget for a second why you were there. "Ethan, though?" He froze. He looked like he'd seen a ghost. What are you doing here?" I smiled. "Lily invited me. She said you had something exciting to share tonight." He tried to play it off. Fake laugh, stiff smile. "Right, yeah. My business idea." Dinner started normally. Small talk, polite smiles, everyone pretending nothing was wrong. I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. Then his dad leaned forward and said, "So, son, tell us more about this opportunity you've been working on." Ethan straightened up like a man ready to sell a dream. He started rambling about marketing expansion, potential investors, and European partnerships. It all sounded impressive, if you didn't know it was complete nonsense. Then his mom asked, "So what exactly does your company do?" He hesitated. "It's kind of confidential right now, but..." I cut in before he could finish. "Does it involve hotel rooms and your ex-girlfriend, or is that a separate project?" The room went silent. His mom blinked. "What?" Ethan's face went pale. "Ava, don't start," he said under his breath. "Start what?" "Telling the truth?" Lily's dad frowned, confused. So I pulled out my phone, opened the folder, and slid it across the table. Photos, receipts, the hotel booking. The Instagram post with the caption, "When you stop settling, you start living." His mom covered her mouth. "Ethan, what is this?" He tried to grab the phone, but I pulled it back. "You lied to them, Ethan. You lied to me. You said the trip was for work, but it was just a vacation with your ex. And now you're here trying to get your parents to fund the next one." His dad's face turned red. "You asked us for money for this?" Ethan just sat there speechless. And honestly, watching him squirm in silence after all that smugness online, it was the most satisfying thing I'd ever seen. For a few seconds, no one said a word. The air in that dining room felt heavy, thick with tension and disbelief. Ethan tried to speak, but nothing came out. He just stared at me like he couldn't process that I was actually there, ruining his little show. His dad finally broke the silence. "Ethan, is this true?" No response. His mom shook her head, whispering, "Oh my God." Then she looked at me. "Ava, I'm so sorry." "We had no idea," I nodded. "I know. You've all been nothing but kind to me. That's why I wanted you to see this before he asked for anything more." Ethan snapped, his voice cracking. "You're seriously doing this? In front of my family?" I looked him straight in the eye. "You humiliated me in front of everyone online, Ethan. I figured it's only fair." His dad slammed a hand on the table. "Enough. You used this girl's money? Lied about a business trip?" He looked disgusted. Not angry, disgusted. "I raised you better than this." Ethan started stammering. "It wasn't like that. Lily cut in. "It was exactly like that. I saw the posts, Ethan. You made her pay for everything while you ran off with your ex. Then you bragged about it online. What kind of person does that?" He glared at her, but she didn't back down. Their mom just sat there in silence, tears in her eyes. For once, he didn't have the confidence, the charm, the fake business talk. Nothing. He was just a guy caught in his own lies. I stood up, took my phone back, and said quietly, "Next time you try to start a business, Ethan, maybe pick a name that doesn't involve fraud." Then I turned to his parents. "I didn't come here to start drama. I just wanted the truth out there." His mom nodded slowly. "You did the right thing." As I walked out, I heard his dad's voice behind me, low and furious. "You're cut off. Don't come to us for money again." That was the last thing I heard before the door closed behind me. The moment I stepped outside, it was like my chest finally loosened. All that weight I'd been carrying for weeks, gone. Lily texted me later that night. Her parents told Ethan to move out until he could get his life together. His ex apparently dumped him 2 days later, once she realized he wasn't getting any money from the investment he promised. Poetic. Honestly, he tried to reach out a week after that, through a new number. The message was short. "You didn't have to destroy my relationship with my family. I was going to fix things with you." I didn't reply. Because for once I didn't owe him an explanation. He ruined his own life. All I did was shine a light on it. A few days later, I sent all the receipts, the hotel, flights, screenshots, to my bank and filed a fraud claim. Turns out, when you can prove someone used your card for personal travel under false pretenses, you can dispute the charges. Got every cent back. Funny how karma works faster when you have documentation. Jess and I met for coffee that weekend. She asked, "So, how does it feel?" I smiled, like finally exhaling after holding my breath for months. She laughed. "You really showed him." But the truth is, I didn't do it to get even. I did it to get out. Out of that cycle where I kept second-guessing myself, wondering if I was too emotional or too insecure. Because that's what people like Ethan do. They make you question your own reality until you start apologizing for being right. Now, I don't apologize for seeing the truth anymore. I trust my gut. And if someone ever calls me overreacting again, I'll take it as a warning sign, not an insult. It's strange, the peace that comes after chaos. For weeks I thought I'd be angry forever, but now it just feels quiet, clean. I don't check his social media anymore. Last I heard, he's been trying to rebrand himself with some new consulting gig. Good for him, I guess. As for me, I'm focusing on me. Work's been good. Jess and I started planning a small trip, somewhere sunny, and every time I see that empty spot on my wrist where the watch used to remind me of him, I smile. Because that same watch? I sold it. Used the money to buy myself a new one. Something simple silver, just like his. Only this time it's on the right wrist.